Hello, Power fans. It's Mathonical, and you're joining me for round 3 with Delver Mill. Opening hand is capable, but due to the experiences we had in the last round, I decide I'm going to go for a bit more of a proactive hand. We can look for either, like, turn 1 Delver would be nice. We can hopefully find a Jace's Erasure, because this hand, while it has a Ponder to try and find action, is nothing more than just a bunch of counter magic, so I'm feeling a bit more proactive today. I'll send this one back. This hand at least has some proactivity with the Delver of Secrets and some redraws. So we're going to go ahead and keep this one. Scrying is super powerful because now we're going to find a Ponder on top. We know the Delver is good to go and flip. Don't even need to use the Brainstorm on upkeep to get there. We're going to go ahead and do that. Fun and Growth looks like we're against probably Bogles. Not many other people play my enchantment control list. I'm going to go ahead and show the the Ponder. Flip our Insect. Casting the Ponder here. Let's see what we get. Island Delver Brainstorm. Well, if we keep the Brainstorm on top, we can get a fairly reasonable clock, and then we'll get rid of the island using the Brainstorms and Preordains later on. And by keeping the Brainstorm second, we know the Delver is going to flip next turn. Sounds good to me. I'm going to go ahead and do just that. Alright, Utopia Sprawl and Metamorphose. Okay, it looks like, yep, indeed a Boggles list. And not much pressure at the moment. Since we are on the beatdown plan, I'm hoping for no Armadillo Cloak next turn. We do have the opportunity to go digging for counter magic. Unfortunately, we do not find one. Here we're just going to put back, well, Snap isn't going to be able to do anything. And an island. We're going to go ahead and cast a Preordain to get rid of those cards. And we just find another Preordain, alright. Just use one of those. We found a Delver and a Spire Golem, also not what I'm looking for. I want counter magic. And by putting them both on top, we did find a Counterspell. So we're just looking to hope that our opponent doesn't do anything too scary this turn, and let's hope it's good. We're stopping a lot of mana, and Ancestral Mask. Okay, that's a fast clock, but thankfully it doesn't gain our opponent any life. We've got a 2-turn clock, so we just gotta hope that this Counterspell is able to deal with whatever opponent tries to play next turn to win the game. And Gush, alright. We'll use a Brainstorm and Echoing Truth. That is a very nice card to see. That plus Counterspell, or like using one of those, should be enough to get us through this one. As to what to put back, well, any of these draw spells. We could always draw a lot of cards by using the Gush, although it's not entirely necessary. I decided to go for it anyway. Basically, I'm just going to use the Preordain here. We don't need either of those. Whirlpool Rider, okay. Our main plan, though, is to use Gush, drop a land, and use whatever Echoing Truth Counterspell combination we need to win the game. Plays another Ancestral Mask. Instead, I'm just going to, I could use the Counterspell here on it just to hide the fact that we have Echoing Truth, but I'm pretty sure that loses to Ethereal Armor, so I'm going with the safer play of just using Echoing Truth here on the Ancestral Mask, getting rid of both of them, and that wins the game. Alright. Managed to win the Delver version of the deck. Alright, and in game 2, let's take a look at our sideboard. Here, I do want the Spellstutter Sprites. They're going to be really nice for trying to counter their spells. They've got a lot of 1-drops. I'm not bringing in the full package as a concession to Scattershot Archer. What I'm bringing in. Let's see, did I? Oh yeah, Curfew. That's an obvious, very nice card to bring in. Also brought. I also took out 2 Thought Scours. There we go. So, bringing in 3 Spellstutters and a Curfew by taking out 2 Thought Scours and 2 Snaps. Snaps aren't going to do anything here except for return our own creatures, which, sure, it could reset a Spellstutter Sprite. I would rather have the rest of our deck, so that way we have both the mill plan and the kind of counterspell plan. The reason why I still have the mill plan is I am afraid of basically them going off with lifelink on Armadillo Cloak or something like that. especially since we won with damage that time. Taking a look at our opening hand, I do like the look of Spellstutter, and it is likely for us to find a land, given the Brainstorms and Preordain. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this one now that I know that this matchup is good with counter magic. Just going to play an island, intimidation factor. Of course, we're just going to brainstorm. Did find a land, and we found a counterspell, so things are looking really good here. The question here is what to put back. And since we're going to be leaving up our mana, we're going to draw one of these cards next turn, and then since we're leaving up counter magic, we're very likely to draw the other card, so it doesn't matter hugely what we put back here. I don't expect to be casting the Spire Golem, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back. And the Rider, since I'm pretty happy with their hand's contents, and we're going to get back anyway. So, yeah, just holding up counter magic, leave cover scout, we're going to use the Spellstutter Sprite. And I would like to draw another land and keep up counter magic. Well, that's a lot of lands. We do want to keep at least 2 of those, or at least one of them. And since we're going to draw another one on our next turn, we can put both of those back. In for a bit of damage. Boggle, we're going to get rid of that. And let's see, here we're going to be using some Preordains. We want to find more counter magic. Spellstutter Sprite qualifies. Going to put the land to the bottom, Sprite to the top. Going to use another Preordain, and land to the bottom, Preordain to the top. And we're in a pretty comfortable position right now. We have the ability to Spellstutter Sprite that. We don't have a fast clock, and thankfully we found an alternative win condition. Erasure should do pretty well, especially with the Gush plus Rider combo. So we're going to play that down right now, and we're going to use Preordain. We want to find some counter magic. Erasure plus Ponder looks pretty good. It probably would have been better in hindsight to put the Ponder on top and cast Ponder here. Basically, it just lets us get one more activation, and we're not wasting the 1 mana that's currently open. Our opponent does have 3 mana, and they're using Manamorphose. I'm assuming they're digging for another creature. There's one. Oh, there's 2. Alright, so they've got their creatures online. Ethereal Armor, that's fine. Got jump blockers for that so far. Alright, so we're going to drop an Erasure. And now we're going to use the Ponder. Brainstorm is really nice, although since we didn't find any counter magic, our main plan is likely to go for the turbo mill plan. So we're going to use the Gush here. We want to make sure we're hitting our land drop. We know that there's nothing great on top. That's fine. We're just going to play the land and use the Rider. That gives us a good 10 cards milled, and this Rider means that that's another 10 cards milled as well. Spellstutter and Counterspell means we can keep up counter magic next turn if we need to. So here, since we're not dead on board, I'm going to go ahead and keep up all of our counter magic and give ourselves one more draw step towards some, like a Gush or something to that effect. One goes for another Armadillo Cloak. I decide I don't need to counter that since that doesn't kill us. And I'm back. So, I basically do not want to use any of my counter magic. I want to leave as much cards in my hand as possible to try and combo off for the win. So I'm playing around mutagenic growth here, just so that way even if he or she has it, it's not going to kill us. So we're going to go with that. Go down to 3, and now we just need to win this turn. Another Jace's Erasure looks pretty good. So we kind of... There was a lot of options, and running the numbers, if we play Jace's Erasure first, that's 1 less card in hand, and then if we play the Rider afterwards, we're going to be milling for 12. Even if we get the best card, which would be a Gush. That's only another 6, which doesn't win the game. So I decide I'd rather mill 10 by leaving the Jace's Erasure in hand right now. And that way we have 2 mana open, so another Whirlpool Rider, which would then mill, what, another 8? It'd get really close, and if we get a Gush somewhere along the line, this ends up being a lot, in my opinion, a lot more statistically likely to win. So, let's see what we get. Another Whirlpool Rider. Alright, so we still have game here. We're going to go ahead and play it. And a land plus Brainstorm. Perfect. So we play it out, and we win the game. Really close one. We came down to the wire, but we managed to turbo mill our opponent out. Thank you for joining me for round 3. I will see you in round 4.